Go for it. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
The preacher man says it's the end of time, and the Dockman can't survive. The water's edge can't survive. The industry will survive.
I don't mind the cold. It's always fun. All right, go down.
Good morning. We're finally on our way to Orchard Lake to install some floating dock, or what we've been calling it, a floating bridge.
Right now we're headed to Orchard Lake to pick up our permit that we've been waiting on since August.
We're all set.
Thank you. Permit in hand, approved, ready to rock. We got the green light yesterday, and today is December 22nd. So we're 3 days before Christmas, and our goal is to get this thing in before the holiday.
There's flurries happening right now. There's going to be some ice on the water. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a tough one, but so overdue to get this thing in the water. We're really excited because the customer actually had us build this to be able to drive a side-by-side UTV side-by-side across it to get out to lake access. In reality, you could probably float a pickup truck on this thing. So,
and it's 8 foot by 260 foot long.
8 foot wide, 260 foot long.
Yep.
It's going to be a masterpiece. So come along with us. I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's see if this thing will actually float.
Also, check out my new Great Lakes Lift and Dock mug.
Thank you, Great Lakes.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
I don't even drink coffee, but you guys made me drink coffee this morning just so I could use this cool mug.
I'm just gonna go plan out where we're gonna walk, or where we're gonna drive down first. Okay. Starting the dock here at these two green stakes, and it's going over there. Robbie, can you run around to the other side so I can kind of map out where these stakes are? Find it? He found it. All right, so over there. Now what do we do?
Offload.
Offload. Time to offload. Let's get him to that skinny push. We usually actually like to capture quite a bit of this because it is a very detailed process. We've got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of product going down to the water that can't be damaged or broke. And I think it's really important to note, this is the start of our story. We've drawn this thing up and talked about it for months and months and months, waited on permitting, scratched our heads figuring out how we can do it a little bit different to make it a little better. And as soon as that product's all down at the water's edge, it's time to actually start the build that we've anticipated for months.
and that's a big part of the challenge too. Probably 1,000 or 2,000 feet from the truck down to the water's edge, and getting it down there is, like you said, Jared, a whole part of the story.
We had to move the sections around, kind of 180 them to squeeze through some tight spots. So we kind of just slid the section along with the skiddy, and once we got to a little bit wider spot, we turned it around, lifted it up, brought them down, and plopped them into place right here. So off to a good start.
Still in the offloading phase. We got pipes to bring down and I think 2 or 3 more sections. And then we've got that trailer over there to unload. Still a fair amount of getting everything down there to do.
The other thing too, anything we impact on that fringe of the wetland area, we have to replant that all, don't we? With native grasses?
All the to replant? Here, all the way down there has to be replanted native grass.
Once all that equipment is down at the water's edge, that's when we usually kind of take a sigh of relief and go, okay, we've got it here, everything's inventoried. Then the actual project starts.
Huge sigh of relief for me once it all gets there.
Last section, going down. Whoops, it happens. Sometimes it goes like that on these big jobs. At this point here, we've made it down to the water's edge, and now it's starting to go in the water. This is where Garrick's mind really takes charge. Rather than try to get in the water and float this across one section at a time and work our way back,
you're essentially putting in one of the last sections first.
Nobody has to get soaking wet, nobody has to get in the water, and trust me, we all appreciate that when it's 15 degrees outside.
We go through the heart of all of the biggest trees in that line. We're connecting sections, we've got our start, and then where we're gonna start transitioning back onto land is what we're doing now. We're gonna get some pipe brackets on this so we can get our angle proper and drive a pipe in, and working on getting the chainsaw running. And we're gonna start clearing a path. I seem to never be able to keep a chainsaw running ever, so, but we're getting it.
It's alive!
Yeah, keep going. This log's pretty frozen in the ice, so we're thinking maybe break it out, cut it in half over around that area so that we could float her out of the way. Come on. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That would have been fun. Oh, that was close, huh? Let's see if we can roll that biatch. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's what's up!
We just gotta slowly clear that out where we can get to where we can run a string line through.
few trees to the left, and there's going to be 2 tags, 836 and 204.
Okay.
Those tag numbers are the trees that are in the pathway of the dock on the other side that are slated to come down. So as long as we cut 204 and 836 down and move the dock 4 feet to the left, we've got approval to do that. We just need to keep the rest of the dock down the pathway of the approved trees to remove.
I have a quick question for you. We cut into aluminum said tag tree. It's still there. We basically trimmed it up. Is that okay?
It's gonna have to be.
Okay. We're running into a little bit of trouble because some of the trees that were marked stay are gonna have to go, or we have to move the dock, which we're under very specific guidelines of where the dock is going to go. So we're between a rock and a hard place. Do we cut trees down that we're not supposed to, or do we move the dock and go off specs per the paperwork that we filed with the state of Michigan and the township? This whole thing might be held up definitely for the rest of today. Hopefully tonight we can get something figured out, or we've got big problems. So the tree tag drama does follow us into day 2. At this point, we are gonna start pulling a string line to make sure we are indeed on the correct path from point A to point B. But there is definitely gonna be some tag trees that are still in that route.
So they need more slack.
How the fuck did you get it tangled?
Luckily, we were able to get Andrew on site this morning to help get this tree tag issue straightened out.
Andrew is our sales manager, and he is our direct line of communication to the customer.
We have the ability to move it 4 feet to the left of where the original stakes were.
So we're already about 2 feet. So we move it over 2 more feet?
Yep.
As in the whole thing? Or?
Yep. Technically, it's supposed to go, we're supposed to move this base to the left and try to stay down the same pathway towards the other stakes.
Okay.
We're where we need to be here. If we line up with those stakes on the other side, we're golden.
Okay, so we're gonna fall obviously 10 feet back from that here.
Yeah, for the gangway.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
Right there, drop him. Hold it there, drive him in. Tyler.
Either way, we're getting a tag tree. If we move it 8 feet that way, there's tags.
It looks like though, if you're going off that pole, it actually looks like the dock is angled that way, and then the pipe comes this way. You can kind of see down the.
Well, it's hitting the tree.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is even if it wasn't hitting the tree, the dock is kicked back that way compared to this. See what I'm saying?
But regardless, I mean, if we
Yeah.
move it 2 feet, we're not going to avoid the tag trees.
I'm making a full determination on what trees all need to come down in this pathway, because I believe that the wrong trees were marked and they weren't fully certain of the exact pathway. All right, guys, this is the pathway that the dock is supposed to be going on. However, there are tags on this that are supposed to stay but are in the way.
So, as that video message gets sent off to the client, right now we're keeping forward progress on the job, cutting down small trees around those bigger tag trees while we wait, getting some piling brackets put on, the hinge for the gangway, and then eventually the gangway, and then the transition ramp.
Anything to keep the forward progress. There goes the pile. So we're pinning it in place here. We must be fairly confident about where we're at.
Jared's fully confident about where I was at.
Always. At this point, we're running out of things to do to keep the forward progress rolling. I had to make the executive decision to send Andy off to get us answers from whoever or wherever that may be. I don't know how he pulled it off, but we got a phone call just in the nick of time. Hello.
Alright, so I just spoke with and gave him the information and the tags. He saw the video. He said that we are good to take them down. We just need to keep record of each tag
Awesome.
number that we cut down.
Awesome.
So that way we can turn them into the city of Orchard Lake, and then they can let them know if new trees need to be planted to replace.
Good news. It's a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle, yeah.
Thank you. All right, we'll move forward. We don't have to move anything around again. We can keep going forward right across the pond. It's a Christmas miracle.
I'm probably the most nimble, I'll say.
So far. I was worried about one of those trees falling on the dock.
I was not.
I know, I could
You
tell.
were worried the whole
I was
time.
fucking worried. I just kept picturing the decking like shatter. What do you think it would do?
I don't think it would do too much, to be honest with you.
They do build some solid shit. Dad always taught us not to dig our chainsaws in the dirt too, and that's exactly what we did this whole.
110% what we're doing.
Made me feel like an outlaw.
Or you're about to get yelled at any second.
The weather really changed on us here. I was hoping it'd be kind of a nice day and start warming up, but does not feel like it. We're wrapping up day 2. We had some ups and some downs. We had the tree tag issues, which we ended up getting through, but slowed up the process. So we're gonna shut her down for the evening and I think get back after the holidays. That's the plan. Stay tuned. Merry Christmas. Day 3 of the Orchard Lake dock build. And it's January 3. And it's 3 degrees. We got some snow while we were gone. As you can see, sun shining and it's beautiful though, so we'll take it. Today the plan is to finish off the floating sections through the woods, get to the high ground on the other side, and then start putting some railing on it. Working in the cold, you don't have your hands exposed. You're usually working with gloves on, which generally results in dropping tools and hardware. Or you just take the gloves off and you let your hands freeze. And the fact that you're bundled up like you're trying to walk on the surface of the moon, it's very restricting and fatiguing as well.
If you keep moving, you don't get cold. It's when you stop working is when you get cold.
Day 3 is done. to the other side of the marsh and we're on high ground. Tomorrow we're putting some railing on and hopefully finishing this thing up. Day 4. Looks like railing is going up and I see somebody up there on a ladder driving piles in. It means we're getting close.
The bolts are breaking off, our set bolts.
The man saver.
That thing kept freezing us too.
It did. Dang it, I was gonna give him a plug there too. Man saver definitely does save the man, that's for sure. Could you imagine pile driving those 40 poles in by hand? Yes, you probably actually can, can't you?
Yes.
We grew up on a farm. Putting in posts was our life, or at least a good majority of our life.
That and picking rocks.
And picking rocks. It did build character. Now we use all the rocks that we picked from the farm for riprap along our shoreline protection seawall type jobs. It's ironic when life comes around full circle. Speaking of full circle, we're getting ready to put the finishing touches on this Great Lakes Port of Ease floating dock. Let's tune back in. All right, dock is finished up. We've got the manufacturer, Great Lakes, here. We're ready to take this side by side across. What do you think? Let's do it. Go for it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! You're good. Did you actually think we were going to pull a side-by-side across the floating bridge and we didn't think it would float it? We had to add some drama. In reality, we knew the entire time that this thing could actually float a pickup truck if it wanted to. You saw a little bit of water squirting out there, I think, but honestly, this whole entire dock is floating. The ice isn't holding it up.
I wouldn't drive that side by side in there if I knew it wasn't going to float it.
Great Lakes builds such a heck of a product. Talk about going in with extreme confidence and just knowing that they are the manufacturer for the job. Port of Ease is the name of the product. They took that model and they beefed it up even further for us. Then we threw some Eagle floats underneath it and decked it off with Sunwalk Superior Surfaces decking. Look at this decking. It doesn't even budge, and you're talking about a 1,200, 1,300 pound machine just skating across it, no problem. Mind you, it's like 5 or 6 degrees out at this point, and no breakage, no shattering.
Yeah, but usually that stuff gets real brittle, or any plastic gets real brittle in low temperatures, and this stuff doesn't seem to be affected by it.
You can't tell, but this dock is actually floating. It looks like it's frozen in, but those floats are so buoyant that they're actually not moving at all with the weight of the UTV on it. Made it, passed the test. Of course, we had no doubt that it was gonna make it through. It was overly reinforced Great Lakes dock with Sunwalk Superior Surface decking. So yeah, I think we did it. On to the next one. Yes, sir. On to the next one.
Tune in next time to see where the Dockmen are headed next.